All right, everyone, these are my top 10 5-star games. All right, everyone, welcome to After Evenfall, a channel all about embarking on adventures from home. I'm here today to show you my top 10 5-star board games. So if you guys don't know, in our house, we rank our board games by stars. We have star 1 through star 5, and these games, for me personally, are all 5 stars, and I love all of them. We're going to start with number 10, and we'll go down to number 1, so let's jump into it. All right, so my number 10 5-star game is Flamecraft. This board game is, in a nutshell, super adorable, which is not a hard selling point for me. I really love my games to be really cute. I love cute components. If you can give me, just look at how cute this artwork is. Isn't that just adorable? Anyway, so in this game, you are a flame keeper and you are going around, so you're one of these cute little dragon pawns, and you are going around and placing your dragon to try to get back some rewards. Sometimes most of the time it's going to be these little resource tokens. This one is really nice for me because you have a bunch of different stores that you can visit, a bunch of different actions. You can try to enchant those stores and get points that way. It just offers you a lot of really good choices, and that's something that I really look out for in a game. So it's a game that's really easy to learn, and it also offers a lot of variety, so a lot of different kinds of gamers can play. I've played this with people who are expert gamers. I've played this with people who just kind of are dabbling into games. All of them seem to enjoy it. It's not overly complicated, so it's fairly easy to teach people, and that's always a pro for me because I feel like we don't really have good, solid groups that we can just play the same game with over and over again. We like to play a lot of different games, and that makes this game a really good choice for us. In our house, we've actually nicknamed it a lullaby game. We call them lullaby games because at the end of the day, we're always really tired and we've had a busy day, and this is one of those games that you can bring to the table. Well, you want to play a game, but you're not quite awake enough to want to play a heavy game. So this is a game that we always bring to the table because we feel like it's a good lullaby game. It's a good game to play before bed when you're trying to fill in that time period between settling down and going to bed. Anyway, so that is Flamecraft. All right, so for board game number 9, I've got a pretty big box, but just know that you can play this at smaller player counts, and you can play this with, they do sell boxes of this that are just 2 characters, so you don't have to have the full one. This is what we personally have, but we really enjoy Dice Throne. So Dice Throne is a battle Yahtzee style game where you're rolling dice. You're using the symbols on the dice, whether it's playing cards to shift the symbols or just keeping the symbols outright that you've rolled, to try to attack your opponent. In this game, there are a bunch of different characters that you can play with different powers and abilities, which offers a ton of variety, which is super nice for us. We really enjoy that a lot. My husband's personal favorite is the Gunslinger. He plays this one the most, and he really, really likes it to get hits on me through this guy. It's not my favorite. I don't like the Gunslinger. My personal favorite is not that one. I really enjoy playing the Seraph. I just think it's a fun character to play the Seraph, and I think the Cursed Pirate is really fun because it offers a unique ability where you have to flip the board if you've overplayed your hand to some degree. We really enjoy this game. We've played this quite a bit. This is a really nice one for date nights if you're not able to go out places, or if you're not wanting to go out places. This is a really easy one to bring to the board. It's not too complicated. It is complicated. It's more complicated than Yahtzee, but it's not so complicated that you're going to be spending hours and hours and hours trying to learn how to play. Anyway, we've really, really, really liked this game. This has been one that we've had probably the longest. We have all of the first season in their separate boxes because we bought those individually before we knew there was a big battle chest. And we have slowly gone through and played the characters, and we really, really enjoy them. The only character I can't stand is, I hate playing against the vampire because it just constantly just bleeds you dry. And I get that that's the point. I get that it's a vampire. I hate playing against the vampire, especially if you're playing something like the Seraph. Like if you're playing something that can't heal very well, don't play against the vampire. So also in this game, the characters are given rankings. You can see them on I think most of the time they're on the advertisements on Amazon. You can see what the characters are ranked, and that way if you want to play an easier character to learn, you can play a ranking on the lighter side, or if you want to play a more complicated character that can do more abilities, maybe you can play something on the heavier side. It really, really is very versatile for a lot of different styles of gamers. And so my last suggestion with this game is that we have played this at 4 players, we have played this at 3 players, and we played this at 2 players. And I will say this game plays best at 2 players. Anything more than that, and it's going to be a really long game where, especially if you have players that can heal or play and you're attacking each other, and then you maybe get distracted with the other players and this person just heals, so you have to go right back and knock them down again. That can be a little complicated. My preference is always 2-player. Anyway, so that is Dice Throne. And this is the Season 2 box, but there is also a Season 1 box as well. So, Dice Throne. So, up to number 8. My number 8 game is Honey Buzz. So, I will say beforehand, this is not my husband's favorite game. This is definitely one that I like. And again, I want to say that all of these games are games that I just really enjoy. They might not always be the game for you. They are the game for me. So, Honey Buzz is a worker placement, worker movement game where you are you're building out your hive and you're trying to collect nectar to put on there, and you're trying to finish out your hexagons so that you can activate different actions through your bees, and you're trying to place your bees in various areas. I actually own the deluxe version of this game. I don't know if it says it on the box or not. So this is the deluxe version of the game. It comes with these cute little fuzzy bee bowls. It comes with these nectar tokens that look like little nectar bags, or bags of pollen. And then there are also acrylic tiles as opposed to just, for the nectar tiles, they're acrylic as opposed to the regular game. I think they're just cardboard. There are elements of tile placement, elements of worker placement, and then there are also a few little memory-based components to the game as well. And they are actually coming out with, I think, I want to say it's not standalone. I think it's an expansion to this game. It's called Honey Buzz Fall Flavors. That one I actually backed, and the Kickstarter is still ongoing as of now. I think there was an issue with some squishy honey components, and so they've had to go back to manufacturing. But Elf Crate Games is a really good brand. We really enjoy this game a lot. It's really fun to kind of build out your hive and to try to have more bee babies so that you can put them in certain places and take advantage of other actions. And I really enjoy this game. I highly recommend this one to anyone who's interested. That is Honey Buzz, game number 8 on my list. All right, now for board game number 7 on my list, we have Guild of Merchant Explorers. So this is a game that my mom actually really enjoys a lot. We play this a lot at her house when we were living there for a little. What I really enjoy about it, this is a type of game for people who are more interested in building out their own maps and not so much direct confrontation. You can play it almost solo almost identically to the same almost identically to the same way that you would play it with other people. And that's always really nice for me. I like to not have to learn a whole different set of solo rules in order to play. You just kind of do your own thing, you total up your score at the end, and then compare it to their list of like average good player, things like that on there. So in this game, you are given your own personal map, and then there are cards that are flipped to show where you can put explorers on your map to try to explore certain regions. You can discover cities, you can try to build trading routes, you can try to establish villages, you can try to make your way to the discovery towers. There are elements of the game where you can search for sunken treasure. You're ultimately just trying to build up the kingdom and to build out the map on the board, or fill out the map on the board with your cubes. And then there are a few different turns, and you got to keep doing that over and over again, ultimately trying to get the most amount of points, or most amount of coins. Like I said, I really, really love this game. All right, so that is the game Guild of Merchant Explorers by AEG Games. All right, so board game number 6 on my list is Brian Brew by Osprey Games. So this is a area control trick-taking game where you are playing cards that give you the ability to expand certain things on your board, whether it's trying to defend yourself against raiding Vikings or gaining favor with the church, or you're trying to broker beneficial marriages, or things like that. Across the board. It's a really fun game. This is one that we have played a lot. We've played it with a few friends. I've played it with just me, my husband, and my mom before, and we really, really enjoy it. That being said, it is minimum three players. So if your household plays primarily 2-player, this is probably not the game for you. That being said, if you can get to the 3-player count, this is a really fun game. Essentially, you are a clans leader, or you are a leader in Ireland trying to unite all of the clans together. You will place, there's like a red token that you'll place down on a spot. Everyone kind of competes to get that spot. And then as you go through the game, you're trying to kind of gain more ground in certain areas to gain the points. You also get extra points from having the churches on your side. I believe that gives you like 1 extra point per player. I will say personally, I don't like trick-taking games very often. I feel like the element of trick-taking is a little overdone in games, especially, I'm not a big card game player. I like cards in my board games. I do not like cards just as the board game for the majority of the time. The way that this game does trick-taking, I really, really like a lot. It gives it a little bit more of a competitive edge when you're competitive on the board. It gives you a really good chance to strategize against the people that you're playing against. You're not just playing against the game, you're playing against these other people very directly. And that is an element that I really enjoy, and my husband especially really enjoys. He really likes the area control games, and this is one that he loves a lot. So my number 6, Brian Baru. All right, so for my number 5 game, this is actually a game that I haven't really heard a lot of people talking about, but I actually backed it. It's definitely in my wheelhouse for games that I enjoy. But my number 5 game is Trolls and Princesses I believe it's by Game Brewer, right? Yep, by Game Brewer. Trolls and Princesses. So in this game, you are a clan of trolls wreaking havoc on a town. You are trying to swap changelings. You are trying to convince the princess to come back to live in your cave with you. You are trying to steal cows, hire people on to allow you more actions, steal belts, in an effort to gain you the most victory points at the end. So this game is a worker movement tile placement game. There's an element to it where you're trying to build up the amount of trolls that you have in your little clan, and you use those trolls to allow you to take actions, but then you can also receive tiles that you're placing to build out your little underground empire. The meeples are crazy cute, especially if you can get your hands on the Big Nose edition. This one has screen printed meeples, and I highly recommend them. They are just adorable. And on top of it, you can also get these magnetic boxes to store everything in, and it's super, super, super convenient. I will tell you that if I had to put everything in here into baggies, you can bet your butt that I would be 3D printing a new base for this, because it would drive me crazy. There are a lot of components to this game. There is a mild amount of setup. I would call it maybe a medium weight game. I wouldn't call it medium weight, leaning on the heavier side. Probably somewhere like if I had to rank it from like 1 to 5, I'd probably give it like a 3.5 to 3.8 on the rank of heaviness. I will say though, the phases can be, it can be a really long game. I think it personally plays best at 2 people. I would not play this. We tried playing a 4-player game. It was really long, and it felt like it went way too many turns. If you're gonna play it 4-player, I recommend cutting the amount of phases that you have, or the amount of turns that you have, in about half, because it's just way too long. That being said, I really cannot speak highly enough of this game. I really love it, which is why I backed it. And that is my number 5 favorite 5-star game, Trolls and Princesses by Game Brewer. All right, everyone. Okay, so my number 4 favorite game, I actually have multiple copies of. Interestingly enough, I don't have a single undamaged copy of the game, and you guys have probably heard me talk about it a little bit in another video that I've posted before. But my number 4 favorite game is Castles of Burgundy, to which I have the main copy. I got this one for Christmas a few years ago. It came in the box damaged. So if anyone knows how to get Castles of Burgundy without getting a damaged box, I would really appreciate it, because it's a fantastic game. I love it. I just would like it to not be damaged. I also have the special edition to this game, and I have a few upgrades to it. I have the terrain pack upgrade, and then I also have all the acrylic tiles and the game player board mat. I'll show you guys my the box had been shredded. Anyway, so I've got the corner of the cover is broken, and then the corner inside the box is broken as well. That being beside the point, Castles of Burgundy is a game where you are a French aristocrat building out your duchy. You will roll your dice, and the 2 dice that you roll will allow you to take certain actions. If I roll like a 4 and a 1, then maybe I want to take 2 territory tiles from the board and put them in my duchy, or maybe I want to use those to ship goods or to take 2 more worker tokens or things like that. If there's one thing I can say about Castles of Burgundy, it is that there are a ton of options for you to take every turn. And I love it. I love the theme. I love the board. I don't so much love the look of this one. It's okay, but they really did a good job at like streamlining the board on this one. I would highly recommend, if you can afford to swing the special edition, to get that edition instead. The board is bigger, everything's a little bit more streamlined, and it allows for a little faster play, especially if you have the cardboard chips. The cardboard chips have the actions on the back of them. I had to purchase stickers to put on my acrylic tokens to tell me what the actions are in the back, because the monastery tiles can get a little confusing. One other thing that we really like about this game is majority of the scoring is done throughout the game, which keeps you from having to score up a million points at the end. I mean, you do have to score some, but it's never over the top. Like, there's another game we own called Bunny Kingdom, and Bunny Kingdom you'll collect these cards that allow you to do a ton of scoring at the end if you've met the prerequisites for them. This game has a few of those, but it's not as bad. I've played this at 2 players only. I have not played it at 3 or 4, and I could see how if you played it to 3 or 4, it could get a little long. I have only actually won this game 1 time, but I still really, really enjoy the gameplay. Most of the games that I play, I only want to play once, and then I'm ready to play another game. This is one that I can bring back to the table over and over and over again, and there are enough options that I am always excited to bring it out. It's a really fun game. I really enjoy it. That is Castles of Burgundy by Ravensburger and Aaliyah. All right, everyone, for my number 3 game, we are going back up to my shelves, and I will be pulling another one down. My number 3 game is The Search for Planet X by Foxtrot and Renegade Games. So for me, games that challenge my mind and force me to do a lot of deduction work are some of my favorite games ever. When I was growing up, Clue was a game that I played over and over and over again when I used to stay at my great-grandmother's house, and it is a game that just really has my heart. The Search for Planet X gives you a lot of Clue-ish vibes in the way that it's deduction, but with way more options. It is an app-driven game. You do have to have a phone or a tablet to play the game. In this game, you are an observatory, and you are mapping out the skies trying to find out where Planet X is located, in what sector it's located. There's 1 item per sector, and in finding out what is located in the other sectors, you can deduce where Planet X is and what's in the adjacent quadrants. So this is a game where I have also purchased upgraded pieces too. They have these little acrylic and metal tokens that I really, really like. I encourage everyone to try to upgrade them. We only did because when we were in between moves, I ended up losing one of the pieces. And if you lose one of the pieces, it's really hard to replace that without everyone knowing where your piece is on the board all the time. And so we ended up buying the extra pieces so that we could still play the game at 4 players. My extended family really enjoys board games, and this is a game that we've been able to get out almost every time that we've gotten together in the last year. Me and my sister and my mom like to play it a lot. My other sister and her boyfriend have played it with us, and my other sister's husband has played it. It sounds really complicated when you're learning it, but once you get the hang of it, it flows very nicely. It is one of my all-time favorite games. Board game number 3, Search for Planet X. So for board game number 2, we have Heat Pedal to the Metal by Days of Wonder. So my brother loves Formula 1, and I know that this isn't technically Formula 1, but he doesn't really play board games a lot with us. I was able to get him to play this game, and it was so fun. We all played it at this last Thanksgiving, and ever since then, this is the one game that my husband always wants us to bring out whenever we're playing with new people. It is a game where you are racing cars, and you are shifting gears to try to allow you to go faster through straightaways or slower through turns. You are trying not to burn your engine out. You are paying heat cards so that you can make it around turns without having to spin out and end up getting put back behind the turn. There are so many extra elements to this game as well. You can play just the base game, and that's what we've played the most, and we just love the base game, but there are also components where you can add weather in, you can add sponsorships, you can upgrade your cars, there's press, all sorts of things, and they're coming out with an expansion, which we're actually really excited for because we love this game so much. So as of now, there are 4 tracks available to the game. I have heard it rumored that they're going to add more tracks, and they have more spaces in the box for 2 more players. I've heard that the next expansion only adds 1, so that's kind of a little bit of insight as to where they're planning on going with this game. I highly, highly recommend it. And that is Heat, Pedal to the Metal. For my number 1 favorite game, I would say that most people can probably tell from my decorations. If you haven't already gotten a clue, I've got one right there and one right up there. So my number 1 favorite game is Root. I love this game. The meeples are adorable, the expansions are great, the gameplay offers you so many options, and the asymmetric factions are so enjoyable. I love this game. So Root is a battle and adventure game where you can play one of many different factions. I won't go into all of them and all the details about what they do because I personally can't even tell you half of them because I have only played so many of them. But this is a game, I would put it on the heavier weight game just because there's so much to learn. And if you want to play different factions, you really need to get to know all the other factions that you're playing against in order to understand what you're doing as a character. In most cases, some of the characters are a little different, but in most cases, that's what you need. I love this game so much that I actually went on Etsy and I bought all these cute little upgraded 3D components to play with. And then I have the Riverfolk expansion, the Marauders expansion, and the Underworld expansion. That being said, there's almost no one that will play this game with me. And that is the only big thing that I will say about Root is that Root is almost a game that you need to play with other people who know how to play Root as well. Otherwise, you're going to be spending a lot of your time teaching people, and you have to be willing to want to play it over and over and over again with the people that you're teaching. Otherwise, it's going to be a one and done, dead in the water game. I personally like to play this most on the app. The app helps to teach you somewhat. I will not say that the app is perfect though. There are some major flaws with the way that they teach you because they teach you how to play the game in the app and they don't really do a good job of telling you why you're doing certain things in the game. In the app, like it won't tell you, why am I drawing this many cards? When am I playing this many cards? Why am I doing this here? Or I've just had some issues with it. I try to have my sister play it on the app with me. Well, she kind of feels the same way. That being said, super fun game. It's actually my all-time favorite game if you can get a good group of people who want to play it with you. I love Root. All right, everyone, this has been my top 10 5-star games. If you liked what you saw, don't forget to subscribe and to ring that bell to get the alerts for when we uploaded new content. I will try to upload new content regularly. Click here to see my latest video. And don't forget to like the video. Thank you so much for watching.